Would you board with the night ferryman of the quiet strait if you knew he only crosses for those with unfinished business on the other side? Tonight, the story of that ferryman in the narrow water he has crossed 1,000 times without a single word. There's nothing here that will hurry you. You can let the day set its weight down on the floor beside your bed, the way a fisherman sets down a heavy net at last light. The strait is calm, the tide is turning, slow and patient. Somewhere out on the black water, a lantern is already lit, waiting, and it is in no rush at all. Let your shoulders soften, let your jaw loosen. There's an old belief in the northern ports that this crossing only carries those who are ready to leave the day behind. And you are almost ready. Breathe out, long and unhurried, and let the far shore stay hidden in the fog for now. We'll drift toward it together, gently, taking all the time the night is happy to give. So let the room around you grow quiet first. Feel the mattress take your full weight, the pillow soft under your cheek, the blanket warm across your legs. There is a rule out on that strait, older than any of the men who row it, and it is a kind rule once you understand it. The ferryman never speaks during the crossing, not once, not to comfort, not to warn, not to answer. His silence is the whole of his craft. And so, in this story, silence is the safest place there is. You don't have to think. You don't have to solve anything. The only thing asked of you tonight is to be carried, and being carried asks nothing at all. Let your breathing find the rhythm of the water lapping at the hull, in and slow, out and slower. The lantern sways, the fog moves, and already the shore behind you is beginning to blur at its soft gray edges. The ferryman keeps a small hut at the water's edge, and before each crossing, he tends it the same way. He trims the wick with a blackened knife until the flame burns clean and low. He coils the mooring rope in slow loops over his forearm, each turn laid neat against the last, the hemp rough and cool and smelling faintly of salt and tar. He checks the oars, the seams of the old boat, the little brass hook where the lantern hangs. None of it hurried, all of it known by heart. For 50 winters his hands have done these things, and the doing of them has worn the worry smooth. He does not wonder who he will carry tonight. He does not rehearse the crossing. He simply readies the boat, the way you might smooth a blanket without thinking, and then he waits at the top of the tide for the water to tell him it is time. When the tide is right, he pushes off. The boat leaves the jetty with a soft wooden groan, and then falls silent on the deep water. He rows without splashing, dipping the oars edge first so the strait barely notices them. The lantern throws a small amber circle onto the black surface, and inside that circle, everything is warm, and outside it, the fog holds the world at a gentle distance. The passenger sits at the bow, facing forward, toward the shore they cannot yet see, and here the old rule takes hold. The ferryman will not turn. He will not speak. If the passenger asks a question, it hangs unanswered in the mist, and that is exactly as it should be. Because the belief in those cold ports was simple and strange, the crossing only completes in silence. Speak too soon, and you never quite arrive, and you never quite return. So the oars dip, and the quiet deepens, and no one says a word. You might wonder what the ferryman thinks about, out there in all that dark. The truth is, he thinks about very little. Long ago, he learned to divide the world into two piles, the way he sorts good rope from frayed. One pile is the things he can steer, the angle of the oar, the trim of the flame, the patience in his own arms. The other pile is everything else, the wind, the fog, the far shore that comes when it comes. He tends the first pile, and he lets the second pile alone. Epictetus, a man who never saw the strait, said the same thing in a warmer country long ago. Some things are up to us, and some things are not, and peace lives in knowing which is which. The ferryman never read those words. He simply rows them. And the Strait, for its part, carries anyone who stops fighting the current. But here is the part the old sailors whispered, and it changes how the whole crossing feels. They said the ferryman is not the frightening one. They said he lives, quite literally, on the silence of the ones he carries. Every quiet crossing keeps him whole. And so, they said, when a sleeper jolts awake in the middle of the night, heart pounding, staring at the dark ceiling, it was never the ferryman who broke the crossing. It was the passenger, a word spoken too soon, a worry that could not stay in its pile. The boat only ever stops when you are the one who reaches for the shore before it is time, which means the crossing was never something done to you. It was something you were doing all along, gently in your sleep. Tonight there is no word you need to say. There is nothing on the far shore that will not wait. So let the boat keep moving. So we stay quiet, and the boat keeps its slow line across the strait. The passenger in this story is carrying something. Everyone who boards is. Maybe a letter never sent, a word never said, a small regret worn smooth as a beach stone in a coat pocket. The ferryman does not ask what it is. He has learned that most burdens grow lighter simply by being carried across still water at night. Halfway out, the passenger loosens their grip on the thing they brought. They set it down on the wet planks between their feet, and the boat does not sink, and the strait does not judge. The lantern keeps its patient flame. The fog keeps its soft gray hush. And something the passenger had been holding tight for years begins, without any effort, to unclench. That is what the crossing is for. Not to erase what is unfinished, but to let you stop rowing against it. Time moves differently on the quiet water. There is no clock out here, no hour that must be met, no bell that must be answered. There is only the dip of the oar and the answering dip, the small, warm circle of light and the wide, soft dark around it. If a memory floats up, let it float by, the way a piece of driftwood turns slow in the tide and then is gone. You don't have to catch it. You don't have to finish it tonight. Marcus Aurelius, an old and tired emperor, once wrote to himself in the dark that everything we see is already changing, already passing, like smoke, like a river you cannot step in twice. The ferryman would nod at that. The strait he crosses is never the same strait, and he has made his peace with the passing of it. Every day dissolves. Every crossing ends, and there is a deep, worn comfort in that. Now the far shore begins to gather itself out of the fog. Not sharp, not sudden, just a darker line where the gray grows solid, a low hill, the hint of trees, a single window lit somewhere with the same warm amber as the lantern. The ferryman feels the change in the water before he sees it, the way the current softens near land. Still he says nothing. Still he does not turn. He only shortens his strokes, easing the boat in so gently that the passenger barely feels the shift. On board, breathing has gone long and even. The thing that was carried lies forgotten on the planks. The eyes have grown heavy. And this is exactly how the old crossing is meant to end, with the passengers so calm they hardly notice they are almost across, sliding toward the shore the way you slide toward sleep, without deciding to, without holding on. The lantern burns lower now, and the ferryman lets it. One by one, the small lights of the night are lowering, the way lamps in a harbor go dark window by window as a town lies down to sleep. There is nothing to defend against out here, nothing to fix. The rope lies coiled. The oars barely move. The fog has become a soft gray blanket pulled up over the whole strait, and under it the water breathes slow and deep, in and out, like a sleeper who has finally, fully let go. If you are still with me, you can let go too. You've been on this boat the whole time. You were always the passenger and never the one who had to row. Let the ferryman carry the last of the distance. Your only task was to stay quiet and be carried, and you have done it beautifully, and there is nothing left of the day to hold. The boat touches the shore. It is the softest sound in the world, a long wooden sigh against wet sand, and then nothing. The crossing is complete. The passenger does not need to step out, does not need to speak, does not need to look back. Whatever was unfinished on this side can wait for a morning that will come on its own, without being called. Seneca, near the end of his long days, wrote that a life reviewed in the evening and set down without regret is a life at rest, and that each night we lay down is a small rehearsal of that deeper letting go. The ferryman knows this in his hands. He ties the boat, he lets the lantern gutter out, and he sits at the water's edge in the dark, content, having carried one more traveler across in perfect silence, asking nothing of the far shore, but the quiet it has already given him. And now let it all begin to blur. The shore, the boat, the little hill with its one warm window. The ferryman sitting still at the edge of the water. Let the fog take them gently, the way sleep takes a thought and turns it soft and shapeless, and then lets it go. You don't need to follow the story any further. It will keep crossing without you now, back and forth across the quiet strait, patient, endless, in no need of you at all. The lantern is a distant ember. The tide breathes in and out and in. There is nowhere you have to be, nothing you have to answer. The water holds you. The dark is warm. And if you drift off before these last words fade, that is not the story ending. That is the story working, exactly as the old ports meant it to, carrying you across in silence while you rest. The lantern is out now. The strait is still. The ferryman waits, and he is glad to wait. You were carried across, and you never had to say a word. Sleep well. The harbor holds.